Welcome to our lovely future humans and those who enjoy wellness truly. We began today with a couple of shorts and an inner growth mindset exercise. Those who own thoughts and own emotions, they own their nervous system and their state of self. So your sense of self is yours. Your child parts are asleep. So your right mode over here is yours and your left ego mode is yours. Words and thoughts and emotions. And so with that, you can spot when you're getting upset. In case you don't get to hear or see the 3-minute exercise, I'm going to begin with that one first, okay? 5D Mystic here, also spiritual, also mindful living loving person, and mentor, content creator, and podcast host. So emotionally mature people, we're the leaders that teach success because we live it and then we breathe it. We know how to handle our anger as it comes up because exactly what it's called. It's about safety, protection, correction. We don't correct people. God is going to take care of all of it. So it's source Akash Anima Mundi. I'm an Akashic record reader. So karmic, cosmic balance always at play. We see human beings for what they are, perfect just the way they are with their flaws. Now the changing people, they are going to go heal with therapy. Once they have a whole self, then they will join us at IHP. Because then they will own the sense of self. So all of sensations, emotions, behaviors, affects, meanings. That's why they're non-traumatized. They self-regulate independently from another, like I do. Okay, so the inner growth mindset exercises support those who can do that. And so within a 3-minute exercise, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and then it's you talk and walk and think and feel. And as a rock might have fallen on my foot, or I meet an emotionally immature, maladaptive pattern person, in all and or equal cases for the rock, we hope not, because that would really hurt. So obviously my foot would hurt. But I will not be walking around having to take out my frustration at all, or say, God just cursed me, the universe cursed me, the devil cursed me, someone cursed me. Okay, so you want 5 practical exercises that you can do to let the anger be dissolved. Number 1 is thinking through with the neutrality and duality. Things happen in life. Not fueling, it's just, it's unjust, because that fueling is going to get you to do temporal junction ruminate, not anything beneficial. That's not your wellness. Good stress means that you're using your prefrontal cortex, and that's why you own the left and right. So you own your words by choosing them. You allow yourself, with the 2, good and bad, neutral, supports you to be able to process something you don't like. And like Sadhguru pointed out today, I read you that quote. Not this one. Let me find it one moment. Might be here. Here it is. If you're being joyful, peaceful and pleasant within yourself depends on the outside, so outside situations, outside world. Your way of being is bound to be accidental. He also shared another beautiful quote. Do not look for the finish line. With life, the journey itself is the destination. And another one, 2 more. May your decisions be based upon what truly matters and works, not upon your likes and dislikes. And never think in terms of who is doing better or worse than you. The only question is whether you are doing your best. Emotionally mature people, mentally mature, physically mature, as an Akashic record reader, that's where you find the Christ consciousness 5D mystics and spiritual ones. They don't have to be a part of Jesus, God, Holy Spirit community, but they'll know of Christ consciousness. We are bodies in ventral energy because we're anchored in our ventral vagal state. So social engagement. So you own the left and you own the right. And so you take thoughts and feelings, you work with them, because that's exactly why, unlike the emotionally immature people who want love but not work, as Patrick Tian points out, we do the work and we do the love. And so I don't endorse my anger, and let's say I'm having a crappy day. I will not allow myself to treat someone like shit, but that doesn't mean that I can't have a moment. Yes, I can. But after that moment, I can also apologize. And so we apologize for getting in people's faces and yelling, not justifying a angry butthole, which, by the way, I don't actually use anger that way, except for with my mom and my twin. So they make fun of me sometimes. They like recording me and stuff like that because they're like, only with us. And I'm like, yes, I was 3-year-old with you. So there you go. That's my trauma time. But you taught me manners, Mom, so I don't do it in people's faces. And others make fun of me for other reasons because I am a perfectionist, imperfect, but still perfectionist on the Enneagram thing, although the PDP framework is a lot more correct. But This is the part of where it says about me maintaining self-image. I don't have an image to maintain. So here's where, what is your motivation to use the inner growth mindset and to emotionally regulate and to be in the physical wellness of you thanks to personal and spiritual growth? What motivates you to do it? If you truly care, what will motivate you is the actual length of life that you get to live with your loved ones in a body that is in its well-being, that is your human makeup and your human nature. That's what your body was leading itself towards, and you actually honor the child that is you that went through shit. When people come out securely attached, non-traumatized, earned, they are their true self. I don't know how it is to be pretending to be Maria. Maria didn't change. Maria consistently expands to be more of herself. And when I got to become a mystic with Claire's, I just knew one thing. Hey God, so I told you, and Jesus and Holy Spirit, there's no devil or demon. Now I'm a mystic. So all the people in cloaks who I also told you are hurting children physically, emotionally, and mentally, and humanly speaking, and continue to do so. All the people who don't come together with the Dalai Lama and the spiritual ones. So, now I'm a mystic, so they also will not welcome me because they think yoga brings demons out of you, that all of the different tools that we use between chakras and Reiki and you name it, everything, just put it on the pie. They think it's all bad juju, and they continue with their stories. Some have even made up that meat has demons inside of it. So, ignorance continues on. God, what shall I do? No, I don't ask him what I should do because he always says, Maria, don't judge your brothers and sisters of suffering. And Buddha and I have a thing because I make fun of him. I'm like, you sat under a tree, Buddha. What do you want me to do? Jesus walked with the people. You left the town because it was poor and full of suffering. But today I can tell you that I know yoga and mindfulness and meditation support ventral vagal portfolio of toning exercises and integration of brain, but they support it. They don't have you welcome in the sense of self. That requires the person to go with their states of self, with a good therapist, and take however long it takes so that they can own a whole sense of self. And then, now that they're their own safe haven seeker base, they can come here and do what we are doing right now, which is, again, you take your thoughts and you take your emotions in 3 minutes. All you basically are going to do is know that you can, in a moment, be able to say, okay, so today that I'm in this mood, what do I want to do? So 5 exercises minimum. For example, for me, I don't really get irritated too much like that, but when I do, I actually, God takes care of it. I don't have to get irritated. I'm not a child. So for me, Maria, it's practice after day after day after day. It's not actually hard. And that's also because I like my health. And then I think of secure connections. And so that's where you have a good time. So people you expand with, hang out, that for sure. So it's hanging out and having fun conversations where I'm laughing with someone. And here's an exercise. I like to watch comedy, anything that will make me laugh. I like Eddie Izzard, for example, but I also like other comedians. And then I'll come and do a podcast and chit chat with you all about something that also is a brighten up my day, for example. And hanging out with my loved ones, obviously, all of them. So not just the secure connections that you can talk about what irritated you today and what didn't, but talking, not venting. There's a difference because we, yes, get steam out, meaning the emotion, but talking means where I can present to a person in my ventral vagal state that which is happening. In fact, actually, I'll give you a technical wording. It's you're using your prefrontal cortex. And so there's an exchange that can happen. If you begin to get charged, you notice it because of the mindfulness living that you do. And so like when I start to get on a roll, I catch myself and then I pause myself because that means I'm entering into what would then become ruminating, which is not what you want. The temporal junction is down. My nervous system is getting hyped up for no other reason except for I'm on a roll with it. And that is actually also important. So you can gauge how your energy is, and when you're not mastering yourself in the moment, so for me it's fun to master and do what I just explained because I'm aware. And then I'm aware of the benefits on my body, but also on my mind. And then it's also about maturity because, again, there's no reason for me to get agitated like a little kid. Because a little kid from 0 to 8 is codependent. They need a grown-up to know how to regulate. I know how to regulate. Okay, so when you're a securely attached, non-traumatized human being, mystic, spiritual, or mindful, you're wanting to do the inner growth mindset exercises, and that's why you don't need a paper and pen. But for sure, for some of you, you might like to journal, or you might like to sing, or you might like to go and for a swim. But you'll do things. And then if you did have reactivity and you used an angry tone and you got in someone's face, you actually know the grown-up thing to do, which is to apologize, but to also know everyone has these moments. Then to know that it's a very serious business when people are maladaptive. Their patterns of behavior that are serious, and unfortunately, neuroception, the body, it's not about willpower or it's not about mindset, it's about the person being able to be aware. But like Patrick Chan points out, there are plenty of red flags for childhood trauma survivors and those who have maladaptive patterns, inner outer critic, drinking, drugging, fucking. I met them in college that will not take themselves to get healed. So don't think again in terms of who is doing better or not. You think in terms of, I'm going to be emotionally mature because you're doing wellness, you're doing spiritual and personal growth. You're the person who knows how to bring forth that which is the healthy boundaries, and it's forgiving like Jesus taught me. For me, it's because why would I ever be mean to any of my brothers or sisters? They have the same heart that I do, and there's no monster inside of them. But I'll be smart and know that it's very important for me to share with the young ones what healthy boundaries are, and the reality that unfortunately we do have people that still live in households that their children get sold for very nasty things, and so we have dangerous human beings. They're not evil, Knievel, medieval in a way of a monster. They are in a Michael Stone forensic criminologist scales list, yes, but they're also free, some of them. They're charming, 6 to 9 or something like that, or 7 to 14 or 19. Forget the numbers right now. Let me see if I have. I thought, yeah, right here, 9 to 16. The 9 to 16 are charming. They have grandiosity, and people follow them around because that's what lost boys do. Not securely attached people follow around their masters. And so the good intentions are not enough. It takes the right action performed with the right consciousness to produce the necessary results. Thank you, Sadhguru. When you are your own safe haven, secure base, you own the thoughts, you own the emotions, you don't endorse bad behavior, you don't endorse good or bad, positive, negative. You know that you're looking at two sides of a coin with that ninth chakra expanding, the human secondary consciousness, the inner darkness that we've been talking about. I know what I have on my list of things to do for you all. Okay, so with that being said, for now, may your decisions be based upon what truly matters and works, not upon your likes and dislikes. So your wellness and your emotional regulation is your wellness, your body first of all, with the mind and the brain and the embodied brain. Your mindset is everything, and having an inner growth mindset so that you can be self-aware, accountable, regulating in a way of having emotionally mature relationships. You're doing it. And you're walking a walk and talking a talk like Jesus, and yes, even Buddha, although I make fun of him. But all the ascended masters, archangels, you name it, like all the stories of those who want to tell us about how blessed we are to have those in the spirituality plane. And for the personal plane, we have a bunch of greats, neuroscientists, neurobiologists, mental health professionals, just, everywhere and anywhere. There's hope for sure. And there's also us consistently expanding. So consciousness likes to expand itself, experience itself, and as somebody was saying, it doesn't have a plan. It just, and that is how you will feel when you know that life is precious and that you get gifted every day the opportunity to spend it with your loved ones, which is why love is easy. And it's not hard to keep a relationship because I have flaws and so do you. I have imperfections and so do you. And so we'll tease each other and we'll love each other. And that's how easy it is for people to be able to have emotions go on when you have the integrated brain. And for those who get here, we welcome all. Again, it's beautiful. To heal trauma, seriously, it's an amazing thing that we have going on. And yes, we still have dark matter, dark energy, and other things, but don't worry, we'll get there. So whether you handle life consciously or unconsciously determines the nature, context, and quality of your life. Yes, thank you, Sadhguru. And as he says, one thing every human being can strive for is to leave this world a little bit better than it was when you entered it. And that is what we get to do. And as Ron Siegel says, telling ourselves that we should be nicer to ourselves doesn't seem to help. It's only once we can connect with the inner hurt that it gets better. And in fact, trauma therapy works to reduce trauma, grow self-respect, positive emotions, and healthy attachments, starting with yourself. So now that you can experience who you are, all the emotions deeply, and that's positive, negative, and you can read and track your somatic narrative, which is the body. The mind is secondary. Now that you know how to do that, that's why you catch the charge and you keep practicing it and you keep creating more integration. And it's, again, an honor to be here. Become a paid subscriber, free subscriber, tell people about IHP, and we will be back with more 3-minute exercises, spotlights, readings, and we have more than just that for the paid community. Also lives here on YouTube and TikTok. You can follow us on TikTok. Have a great one.